Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Your presence means the world to me. Hello, YouTube friends. Join us as we unravel the mysteries surrounding Wolo. Wolo was an artist, caricaturist, muralist, puppeteer, and children's book author. He emigrated from Europe to the United States after World War I, and after 6 years doing odd jobs, pursued a career in art over the next 60 years. He began exhibiting his art in Chicago, Los Angeles, and then in San Francisco, where he drew a daily caricature column, I Saw You, for the San Francisco Chronicle. He painted murals at hospital wards and at restaurants, wrote 5 children's books, and was a puppeteer for children's parties as well as on television station KPIX 5. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into early life and education and analyzing its key components. Erhard Anton Wolf-Georg Tuchler von Falkenstein was born July 4, 1902, in Berlin, Germany. His parents, of the noble class, were Baron Ludwig Ulrich Martin Fritz Tuchler von Falkenstein and Caroline Margarete Charlotte Ida Annan von Nettelblatt Tuchler von Falkenstein. His name Wolo came from his younger sister Anneliese, who as a 2-year-old was not able to pronounce Wolf, and when he became an artist, Wolo was the name he chose to use. Wolo's father was a lieutenant in the Alexander Grenadier Guards. When his parents divorced, his mother married a diplomat attached to the embassy at Bern, Switzerland, where Wolo lived until the age of 12. Under German law, his father took custody then, and enrolled his son in the Royal Military Academy in Germany. Following World War I, Wolo was sent first to a business college, then to a famous Swiss agricultural college where he graduated as an agricultural engineer. On a 1922 student exchange in the United States at the University of Wisconsin, Wolo worked on a model farm near Beloit, tending dairy cattle. His wages were $10 per month, and he wrote, "I had never really wanted to be a farmer, I wanted to be an artist." There followed a time he called the long, dark tunnel, this heartbreaking fight to become an artist, this terrific struggle. In his autobiographical statement in 1934, he listed 6 years of odd jobs: grocery clerk, private secretary and switchboard operator, salesman, real estate, stock boy at Marshall Fields, linoleum cutter, pot washer, sew jerker, bus boy, handyman, fence fixer, flapjack juggler and pantryman, worker in a candy factory, sign painter, and finally I became a janitor. Wolo's daughter wrote, "In this section, we'll be shedding light on career and its impact on our understanding of the subject." Wolo began his career as an artist in Chicago by sketching people in cabarets, then sold sketches to magazines and newspapers, before finally opening his own studio on Olvera Street in Los Angeles in 1927. In that studio, ventriloquist Edgar Bergen paid him $5 to sketch a stupid-looking hayseed, a drawing used to create Bergen's famous dummy, Mortimer Snod. As we transition, let's shed light on caricatures and its relevance to our ongoing exploration. In 1932, Wolo found work as a caricaturist columnist at the San Francisco Chronicle. By 1933, he had exhibited caricatures and character portraits at Courvoisier galleries. Portraits on display included General Johnson, Ramsay MacDonald, Mr. William Randolph Hearst and Isidore Gomez. Critic Ada Hafen wrote, "Wolo's so-called caricatures of famous on exhibition at Courvoisier's might better be called exaggerated portraits. There is a significant force and a penetrating quality, frequently soul-deep, in much of his work that bespeaks a future for this man if he should take up portrait as his special vocation." In November 1933, Wolo began to sketch for I Saw You, his daily caricature column at the San Francisco Chronicle, in which Wolo observed and sketched a person on the streets of San Francisco without the victim's knowledge. If a victim or his friends recognized him in Wolo's column, he could claim $1 at the Chronicle after being identified by Wolo. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding drawings as we navigate its intriguing terrain. Demonstrating he was more than a caricaturist, Wolo exhibited drawings in 1937 at the Gelber Lilienthal Gallery, featuring sketches for murals he had created for children's rooms. Commenting on his murals, a critic wrote, "He is adroit, he has an affectionate sense of fun. His fanciful youngsters and animals are delightful." Wolo also created sketches on the site of events such as the open-air art show in San Francisco's Union Square. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting murals. In 1932, Wolo contributed to the Olvera Street mural, emigrated tropical. Wolo's 80 animals in murals at the Stanford Convalescent Home for Children in Palo were described in 1938, Merry Animal Murals, a picturesque new aid to the welfare of Bay Region youngsters. Wolo's large murals were also on display at the Hippo Burger, New Pisa and Vesuvio restaurants, the Children's Hospital's Little Gym Ward, and children's wards in Salinas and San Pablo. Let's transition to books and uncover its significance. By 1940, Wolo's sketches and murals had come to the attention of the New York publishers at William Morrow and Company, who signed him to produce children's books. The characters were based on bedtime stories Wolo told his children, with an emphasis on fantasy. Amanda, New York, William Morrow and Company, 1941. Amanda is a kind-hearted polka dot snake who befriends all the jungle folk and was particularly beloved by Sir Archibald, the monkey. This is the story of their adventures in search of the blue lake where breadfruit grew buttered. Nonsense tale, with tropically gay splashy illustrations on every page. Jacket blurb in verse. Ecurcus Review: The Secret of the Ancient Oak, William Morrow and Company, New York, 1942. The old oak had many tenants: an owl, squirrels, orioles, woodpeckers, raccoons, bees, and Eldermoot, the groundhog. A wicked black beaver lived nearby and decided that he would gnaw down the old tree and claim it for his own fell purposes. He came at night to accomplish his threat, but at first the occupants paid little attention. Then each group tried to keep him off, but it wasn't until they all learned to pull together that the old devil was thwarted. Ecurcus Review: Tweedles Be Brave, Collins, London, 1943. Tweedles is a daring small monkey with a white cockatoo playmate. What one doesn't see or do the other does. And they flout the spoiled, cantankerous king of the monkeys, and go far afield and find out a few things for themselves. Eventually, they save the Monkey King and his subjects, and all live happily ever after. In story with lots of pictures. Ecurcus Review: Sir Archibald, William Morrow and Company, New York, 1944. Sir Archibald is the boastful monkey of previous books, and this time he sets out to recover the king's crown from the dreaded Grizzlegrim. The meanies make it hard for him, but he has learned to use a charm which shows up fears as nothing, and he comes through unscathed, only to find that Grizzlegrim is a scarecrow. And the crown is home under the throne all the time. Typical Wolo pictures and lots of from Ecurcus Review: Friendship Valley, William Morrow and Company, New York, 1946. This story has its own bit of social significance, dedicated as it is to the amity of nations. It is a story of the dispossessed, as a group of animals are burned out of their forest home and combine to find a new place to live. Fear and distrust are overcome, and the animals find the path not too rugged after all. They settle down in a valley and learn to live together. Illustrated profusely in characteristic black and white and color. Ecurcus Review. Wolo also illustrate Hippo Cookbook by Jack Falvey. Nitty Gritty Productions, 1969. A Children's Music Box, lyrics by Paul Francis Webster, music by Frank East Churchill. William Morrow and Co., 1945. Let's now enter the realm of puppeteer and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. According to the San Francisco Bay Area Puppeteers Guild, where Wolo was a charter member in 1961, KPIX 5 was a huge sponsor of puppetry. For Red Goose Shoes, Wolo von Trutzler performed with his puppet friend Aloysius, and then went on to be featured with a spot on KPIX's morning show. Wolo painted murals and acted as consultant for the construction of the storybook puppet theater Fairyland. Wolo won the Westinghouse Coast Network's competition and went to Hollywood to appear on the Panorama Pacific. The digital library collection at the University of Southern California includes 2 images of Wolo of the Talking Hands, with this 1949 description of Wolo. Wolo created all elements of his puppet shows. In the next segment, we'll be exploring end of life and its implications for our subject matter. Wolo's career as an artist spans 60 years. He died at age 86 in Laguna Honda Hospital in San Francisco. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.